Good afternoon. Many thanks to World Trade Institute for this invitation. Many greetings to Pierre Sauvé and to Hans-Peter Egler, as well as to all the other speakers. And a special greetings also to Thomas Gauthier. Unfortunately, I cannot be in Bern today. I am in Hanoi. I am recording this during the weekend, and I hope that my presentation could be useful for this workshop. In order to try to give an assessment of the effectiveness and of the impact of technical assistance directed to developing countries, universities, and traditional technical assistance targeted at government, ministers, and officials, I think it's necessary, first of all, to agree on the criteria to assess the two different modalities to provide trade-related technical assistance. And in order to provide this criteria, we can select the criteria provided by the European Union in evaluating and monitoring project, technical assistance project, and in particular trade-related technical assistance. Among the different criteria that I would like to select and propose, there is sustainability, the impact. We can leave out some criteria such as relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness, that it will depend normally on the way the project is implemented. But I would add also ownership, which is one of the key issues on trade-related technical assistance project, and needs. I mean that technical assistance should satisfy the needs of the beneficiary more than the idea of the donors. With regard to sustainability, we can say that technical assistance for academic institutions, think tank, and other, first of all, they are more sustainable than technical assistance provided to government. Indeed, in this way, technical assistance promote the permanent capacity of educating future trade experts. It can be, and after that, these experts can be recruited directly in the government. Like in Vietnam, for example, most of the government officials working for the Ministry of Industry and Trade have been trained by the Foreign Trade University. University in this way can also support non-governmental institution capacity to develop. I mean that university can provide technical assistance to business sector and to business associations. This, for example, does not happen in the case the government will receive technical assistance. In the long term, moreover, the universities and think tank can become really a valuable partner for providing technical assistance to government officials and government in general. So from the point of view of sustainability, there is a lack of sustainability. Normally, the sustainability of, for example, training courses or researches carried out within the government are not really sustainable, differently from that at universities, which have a double impact on the situation, on the specific situation, and an impact on the future capacity of the organizations to provide assistance. With regard to the impact, first of all, we have to talk about the impacts only from a theoretical point of view, because the impact, we know, depends on the specific objective of the project. But we can say that potentially the activity supporting university think tank, they have a higher impact than the same activity proposed for the government. First of all, because universities and governmental institutions, they have this sort of ability of providing a domino effect of technical assistance. They multiply, they're a sort of multiplier of the efforts made by the technical assistance donors. Why this? Because, first of all, the institutions are really there for providing information to other stakeholders in the country. And second, they are really embedded in the country business and local system. And third, government normally they don't like to provide assistance to the private sectors or to the other sectors. So, contrary from the institutions, the academic institutions of research. Universities, moreover, as I told you already, can provide support to the business community, differently from the government. They have a higher potential of cooperation. I mean, that's normally the university, especially when the technical assistance program refers not only to university and think tank, but at the same time also to government and government officials and government agencies. This way, this mix of technical assistance may promote also the cooperation among the different stakeholders in the country. Better if the technical assistance is provided for associations, business associations, universities and academic and research institutions, and government. In this way, already from the point of view of the technical assistance, the implementation of the technical assistance, we can have a better cooperation. First, again, there is the possibility to provide technical assistance with wider scope and more flexibility. Especially in some countries, technical assistance can cover subjects which are not really welcomed by the local government. Here in Vietnam, for example, it's very difficult to provide technical assistance in the field of corruption. Indeed, mainly only the World Bank and some bilateral donors, they can do it. While it's possible to organize training courses, researches, think tank, groups of research on this type of subject, which are neglected by most of the time by the government. Ownership is very important for a technical assistance project. First of all, assisting non-governmental subjects such as universities and research institutions. In doing that, we don't have a risk of being accused of influencing political decision of the country. Moreover, there is not the risk of having tied aid. That is one of the problems of technical assistance. Donors, they provide technical assistance, but only with something in exchange or utilizing national resources. And moreover, universities and institutions are the real owner of the programs. The type of program that are implemented by universities, academic institutions, research institutions in the framework of technical assistance provisions are the institutional activities of these organs, differently from the government, that they don't have to do research, they don't have to teach, or they don't have to provide consultancy to third stakeholders. So we are going to work with institutions that they normally do this type of job every day. One more important issue is the impact. And the problem with regard to the impact is measuring the impact of assistance provided to non-government and academic institutions. Well, first of all, there is a premise we should point out. The impact of technical assistance for a university is not only a long-term impact, but it can be also a short-term impact. As I anticipated before, this depends on the mix of technical assistance means that are implemented. For example, training for trainers can be associated to training for government through universities, or research or teaching institutions. These will help the institution to raise their ability, raise their capacity, but also to have the final objective to provide short-term impact for the government. Of course, at the end, if we want to apply the development cooperation agencies' criteria to measure the impact of technical assistance provided to academic institutions, I summarize it, academic institutions, all the others, we can have some problems. But these problems are shared by the assessment of the impact of all the trade-related technical assistance projects. We know very well, OECD made a lot of studies on these type of issues. Indeed, experts of OECD, in many writings, they talk about attribution to some specific results achieved by the country. They talk about attribution of the technical assistance project more than contribution. So, first of all, we are in a framework where it's very difficult to assess the impact. However, differently from the assistance to the government, I think that the assistance to human resources, to academic institutions, they have more value in terms of contribution to the developing of the beneficiary country. I explain this. OECD recently developed the argument that trade-related technical assistance projects should promote value for trade more than trade and trade policy in themselves. I mean that the final aim of trade-related technical assistance project is not to promote trade or only trade policy, but to have a real value for the promotion of trade. This is based on a long theory, a very old theory that's well, not theory, it's a sort of different point of view about the contribution of trade to development. But leaving aside this argument, we can say that promoting trade policy, according to the OECD studies, but this is shared, is only an intermediate objective. The final objective should be wider, and there should be the assistance to the human resources to developing countries. And the main problem of developing countries is promoting the capacity of human resources. And it's clear that supporting this type of institution, academic institution, will provide a better value for trade than other support, for example, support to the government. This is also, from my specific experience here, this addresses another important problem. The problem is that the lack of capacity in the government normally is the lack of capacity at middle-low level government officials. Here we have very experienced and technically very prepared government officials. So we think about government negotiators, lawyers, but they lack support from middle-level young people that has to prepare the background materials for the day-by-day job of the high-level officials. And the assistance of this type, assistance to universities and to academic institutions and research institutions, have a higher impact on this type of problem than the impact of providing assistance directly to the government officials, and etc. Moreover, this is another reason for what I said, a mix of instruments, both to universities, technical assistance both to university academic institutions, and to government officials. I would like to conclude about some examples of the activity here in Vietnam. So what kind of assistance should be given to universities to have the best impact, the most important impact? One of the most important problems is how to select the counterpart. Of course, there could be interviews and collection of information. But in MUTRAP, in this project supported by the European Union, Multilateral Trade Project, we promoted competition among different academic institutions and research institutions through a call for proposal with specific objectives. the call for proposals had been launched with some specific objective or criteria, such as the project should achieve some specific objectives. Of course, the institution must present the proposals in cooperation with international institutions from other countries, European countries, and so on and so forth. So in this way, we had a very good result, because we had the result that we implemented project, the beneficiary, first of all, implemented by themselves project in cooperation with other international institutions. So we had also this networking impact. We improved the ability of the beneficiary universities and research institutions to self-manage an international project and to present a proposal for getting the grants from an international project. And this increased their capacity to participate to future projects of this type. And we focus, moreover, on some specific objectives, such as the revision of curricula. For example, the Hanoi Law University is I think there's a unique university in the world with an international trade law bachelor. We introduced the concept of peer reviewing and supervisions of what they are published. They've been published. They publish with the grants. And, for example, we promoted the creation of e-journals and other type of output. In this way, we satisfy the real needs of the academic institutions, because, of course, the proposal come from their needs, in the framework of the general objective of the project and in the framework of the real need of the beneficiary country. So, I think that in this way we promoted ownership, we promoted a higher impact, and we promoted also the improvement of capacity of the beneficiary. For concluding, however, I think that the impact of technical assistance to academic institution, sometimes the risk is that the impact can be assessed on in the long term. And we realize that there are synergies if we provide technical assistance both to institutions, academic institutions, and governments. Because in this way we improve the impact, we promote the cooperation between different stakeholders and beneficiaries, and also we try to promote the cooperation between the academic institution, government officials, and government agencies, and business associations and enterprises. So I think that this mix between technical assistance to research institution and university and to the government will satisfy the best, will have the best results in terms of impact and in terms of all the other main criteria provided for assessing an international trade-related project. I thank you a lot, and I wish you an excellent workshop, and goodbye.